Well, everyone, the newest Hell of a Boss episode called Mastermind is out, and I'm gonna be honest, this episode left me speechless. I haven't been this speechless since the Ozzy's episode. There is just so much to take in, so let me get into the small things out of the way. We've seen the other princes, Leviathan and Belagor. I like Belagor's design, she looks so cute. I'm not crazy about Leviathan. I think if the more human head was more lizard-like, I think it would be way better in my opinion. Now, Satan's design was good, but I feel like it could have been a bit more in a way. And the animation just keeps getting better and better along with the scenery in the episodes. This episode was actually insane. Like, I had to rewatch this a couple of times, so now we're going to be talking about this. But first, I have a little surprise. This account is now monetized. I am in the YouTube partnership program. Now, some of my videos are copyrighted, but I'm going to try and improve my video making skills as best as possible. I couldn't do this without you. Anything seriously helps. I also have a super thanks. I hopefully one day can do this as full time. So with that being said, let's get into what might be my new favorite Hell of a Boss episode. Alright, so this episode starts off with Andreas' mansion where he and his sister Stella is having tea. Stella is dumber than a pile of rocks, like brain rot dumb. She reveals to him that Stolas has been letting an imp use the grimoire, which is very serious. Of course, Andreas is quite mad at her for not telling him this because this is a pretty huge crime and this is what they need to forward their plans. How does Stella not know how important this book is? She was married into the family that uses it. Her daughter is going to use it if she ever takes the throne. No one told her about demon law. Anyways, this is enough ammo to use, and Andreas sends demons to arrest the I.M.P for their crime. I.M.P starts burning everything when they find out they're about to get arrested, hiding everything they have when they realize the situation and they try to escape, but Blitz sucks at driving and they get captured. They are getting put on trial for using a grimoire, which is a highly illegal crime. Satan is the judge of this court. Andreas is there along with the deadly sins, except Lucifer, of course, along with the Goetia demons. Everyone but Stolas is there. Of course, it does not look good for I.M.P since it's Royal's words against theirs. Also, quick thing I want to talk about, Andreas is extremely creepy. He calls his sister hot and attractive several times, and even Stella has looked uncomfortable before, and in this episode he calls her aggressively attractive. Now anyways, one demon speaks up and his name's Visago, aka the best Goetia in the show so far, already becoming a fan favorite, and he's wanting this to actually be fair. Andreas is putting the narrative that Blitz forced himself on Stolas and Stolas was just too ashamed to speak about it, and that's why he's not in court, which is a huge lie. Visago wants Stolas here so he can speak for himself. He wants this to be done fairly. I hope we learn more about him and his relationship with Stolas. I.M.P is barely being allowed to speak and defend themselves. As a testimony, they bring Stryker, who in exchange for speaking gets immunity. Stryker tells everyone in court that Blitz is the one who hired him to kill Stolas, which Blitz responded that he could have killed Stolas himself if he wanted to, which actually that is a very fair point when you think about it. Because why would an assassin hire another assassin? But it's seen as pretty shocking and guilty thing to say for some reason. Beelzebub and Asmodeus gladly defend Blitz, since they met him and generally want to hear everything that he has to say. Plus they've already met and bonded, especially Asmodeus because his boyfriend Fizzaroli is Blitz's best friend. Mammon of course couldn't care less, nor does he want to hear it, because he hates Blitz's guts for what happened in this episode called Mammon's Magnificent Mid-Season Special. A vote is casted and pretty much everyone wants I.M.P to just be executed. Unfortunately, with all of this quote-unquote evidence and the vote casted, Satan sentences them to death, and this will be broadcasted for every demon to see, so no demon will ever have the audacity to question their authority and they stay in their place. Even Fizzaroli sees this and texts Asmodeus begging him to try to stop this, but unfortunately there isn't much he can do. Blitz stands up for his friends and daughter, telling Satan to only have him executed, that he is the ringleader and that they are not a part of his crimes. Satan decides to agree with this agreement despite I.M.P trying to talk him out of this. Before this execution is about to start, guess who sees this on TV? Yep, Stolas. He of course freaks out and grabs his clothes, racing to save Blitz. Satan gives him one last chance to speak before the execution. Blitz only wanted to rise above what he was born as. Imps are seen as expendable servants and nothing more, and he wanted to rise above that with other imps. to show everyone that they are more than servants. Moxie tried to talk Satan out of this, but Blitz has already come to the realization that Satan was never going to hear him out, which is most likely true, and he tells Moxie to take care of Luna for him, and Luna is tearing up too, because as edgy as she does act, she very much loves Blitz. Blitz even tells him that he loves them, and suddenly Stolas saves him right there, right in the nick of time, much to Satan's dismay. Now, this part was kind of weak in the episode. Like, the song itself was okay, but I also feel it was unnecessary. But the scenery was great at least. Stolas proceeds to degrade Blitz, but this time he's doing it in a useful way, trying to show that a mere imp could never create such a devious plan, which helps Blitz's case, and Stolas confesses to being the mastermind of this whole thing. Now, as much as Stolas does indeed play a pretty big part in this, on my first watch, I was confused why he didn't say that Stella was the one who hired Stryker to kill him. My only conclusion is that he wasn't thinking. Besides, he didn't see the trial from the beginning, only the part where Blitz was about to be executed, nor did he see Stryker there. If he had told them, that could have had some weight and caused some questioning, but I'm sure Androphis would have turned it back on them. Blitz is shocked that Stolas is literally going to give up everything just to save him, which he feels as though he doesn't deserve something like this. Especially when you remember in the Ozzy's episode, instead of standing up for Blitz, he covered up his face in embarrassment. So with this reveal, Satan decides he will let Blitz go, seeing that he is just a mere pawn in the Goetian's game, but Stolas will be punished instead. So Satan kicks out Blitz out of the courtroom and immediately gets hugged by I.M.P, so grateful he's alive. But now Stolas shall be punished. Stolas lowers his head on the chopping block thinking he will be executed, and we see that Octavia sees this on TV live, so she races out of the living room and Stella plays the loving mother act, comforting her daughter while smiling because Stolas has lost and she's won. Does she actually love Octavia? We don't know yet, but Octavia quickly accepts her hug, so there might be something there at least. But the worst part about this, she doesn't even know that's not how it works, so she thinks her father is now dead. Octavia cannot catch a break with this. What actually happens is because his life has value being a Goetia prince and all, they have to give him a more fitting punishment. Androphis gladly says he should be banished and he will take over the throne since Octavia is not of age yet, and Satan agrees, which Androphis is celebrating hard. Satan uses the 7 rings and strips Stolas of all of his powers and his royal status. For the next 100 years, he will have to live with the citizens, or commoners I guess they would call them, which for a royal, that's a pretty devastating punishment. Not only does he lose his powers and his status, everything he once knew, he loses Octavia too, who will be with her mother now. Afterwards, Stolas is thrown away like garbage, since now he's homeless. Blitz lets him stay with him instead. Now, here's the thing, everything has now changed and both are alive. Stolas is broke and powerless, and Blitz is becoming beloved and famous. People are now throwing stuff at Stolas, spilling stuff on him, like he is at his lowest point. I wanted to say that Stolas is now being hated, but I don't think that's the case. Royals already treat imps like garbage. Imps are the second lowest class of demons. They struggle to survive, so to now see a royal now having to live just like them, they're saying whatever they want and treating him like how the royals treat them, because there isn't anything he can do about it now. Stolas is let into this home for the first time, and he sees Luna hugs Blitz, calling him dad, and he said that she loves him. And I think this is where it finally hits him that he lost his daughter. But here's what I don't get. He would have lost his daughter regardless. He originally thought he was going to get executed. He would have died, which means he'd lose his daughter, which would result in Stella raising her, and Octavia would probably become a terrible person just like her. Like, I'm sorry, but Stolas is an idiot. He was willing to die to save a demon, and not once did this man think about his own daughter and how she would feel about him being gone. And it's only until he loses his powers that he asks what will happen to Octavia. But just 5 minutes earlier, he was going to die for Blitz. This bird is so dumb. Anyways, Blitz gives him a bath and Stolas looks super depressed and almost drowns himself too. Blitz is being so kind to him, really showing how much he is changing. And Blitz's phone is blowing up. there's an article talking about what happened. This is the first time in history a demon, especially an imp, has survived being sentenced to death by one of the deadly sins. This is monumental, and Blitz becomes famous very fast, getting hundreds of messages, demons wanting to hire him and demons wanting to work for I.M.P, which will surely make his business booming. Stolas is super depressed right now. Blitz thanks him for saving him. For a moment, Blitz wanted to say something else, but Stolas falls asleep. Blitz gives him an adorable little kiss on the cheek and decides to watch the fireworks as demons celebrate this pretty huge victory for imps. Now that the synopsis is over, I actually have theories. Two, one is more likely to be proven rather than the other. Okay, the first theory, which is obvious, that Andrealvis and Stella will turn Octavia against Stolas. I think how this will go is that Stella will convince her that Stolas saved the imp from being executed and was going to take his place, but her gracious brother Andrealvis saved him in time. But instead of Stolas being grateful and going back to his family, he runs away with the same imp, which in Octavia's perspective, that would make a lot of sense, since they can twist the truth on her. Plus, in the previous episode, she already had bad issues with her father regarding this, so for the idea of her father abandoning her and her mother will seriously hurt. And why I say this can possibly be proven? Well, in the second season 2 trailer, she says, and I quote, "You never loved mother and you don't love me, you love him." And is it going to be hard for Stolas to try and tell her what really happened, especially since he was banished from the castle, and I highly doubt Stella will ever let him near her. In a way, she is kind of right. With what I said earlier, he was ready to die for Blitz, not taking consideration of his own daughter and what will happen to her. So she's not too far off with this. My second theory that I have, I think Andrealvis will betray Stella. As much as he talks about how attractive she is, he always insults her intelligence. He was calling the shots as well, and since now he has power, more higher power than her might I add, he no longer needs her, and if she even tries to stop him, he knows she's the one who called out the hit. He technically had nothing to do with that in the beginning, so now he holds all the cards against her in this. This theory I'm not too sure about, but Andrealvis is definitely doing this for himself, since he was a much lower class Goetia than Stolas. That's just my theory, a hell of a boss theory. Anyways, what do you think about the Mastermind episode? What's your least favorite and most favorite parts? We'll love to hear your comments down below. Please like, share, and subscribe to help my channel. I hope soon I can make this a job of sorts. And as always, stay amazing, you stars.